Hello, welcome to my shed. I'm Singer. I'm about to try and recover my new, well, it's not new, it's old and very battered, Blackstar ID 100 TVP in new material. I've, like you've probably done if you're looking at this, watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and they all seem to be Americans who know exactly what they're doing. So I thought I'd do one by an English person who has no idea apart from watching YouTube. Yeah, never tried this before. I've never made a YouTube video before, so depending on how well I manage to work out iMovie, this is either going to be very long with many cuts, or I'll do fast forwardy bits to get through the boring stuff, but we'll see how we go, one step at a time. Right, first step, we're going to take all the hardware off and then we're going to start stripping. So this is what we're going to be doing. As I say, it's a head and cab, 100 watt head and cab. The head isn't actually too bad as things go. It's had a hard life. I knew its previous owner. I checked for him actually for a while, and it did live in vans. Oh dear. So yeah, as you'd expect, edges are all a bit chewed up. That's something else we're going to come to later, whether or not you can fill light scratches in MDF. But the cab is another kettle of fish altogether. Now weirdly, I don't think there's too much all the way through the vinyl, a bit on the back, but it's only light. Whereas it's very scruffy, as you can see. Lots of areas where it's been bashed and knocked and rocked. Going upstairs in the back rooms of pubs and clubs. So yeah, needs a little bit of TLC. I've already taken one handle off because it was broken. I've had all the speakers out as well because I didn't want to bring them down to the shed where there are many pointy things that would just be a disaster magnet. Yeah, so we've got I've ordered new material. It's going to be ox blood. I've got a sample of it somewhere. Yoink! Ooh. Very nice. This is, I'll get onto this later when we're actually getting onto the material covering bit, but if like me you were searching for Tolex on the interwebs, you will have learnt that if you live over here in our sceptred isle, you're a bit limited for coloured Tolex. There's a few places doing it, but it's about 30 quid a metre and then postage. Or you can look at America, who sell it for much more reasonable prices. I saw it as low as sort of $9 a metre for that colour, which I really wanted. But then the postage is about 100 quid, so that was worth more than the amp. I mean, I didn't pay a lot for this amp. I only wanted the 4x12, but then my friend said I may as well have the lot, and I got it for a song, so I might put prices up later. Well, I may as well tell you. It was 150 quid, which was a bargain, because everything works perfectly, it just looks tired. Okay, on to the stripping. Okay, taking all the hardware off first. Tips, if tips be needed, get a lot of these little Ziploc bags and write on them where all the screws come from. Any different screws, put in different bags. That's what I'm going to do, because it's all very obvious when you're stripping it, but if that screw is different to that screw when you come to put it back together, I mean, who wants to be counting screws when you're reassembling and all excited about playing it again? So that's what I'm going to do. This is probably going to be in speed division, or I'll just cut to when I've got all the screws out and taken the bits off. Everything's going to be bagged and labelled and tucked away. See you in a minute. Bag. Sometimes, well, it's not like I've done it before, but from the videos I've seen, sometimes it's going to be a bit tricky getting panels off, because when they're made and they glue all this covering on, they slap them all together straight away. So some of the glue that hasn't dried yet then dries while they're screwed in. So you've not only got screws holding it on, oh, there's a little bit of glue as well. That's come off all right then. Yeah, there you go. Bit of glue around there where it was daubed on. It's probably a heck of a lot neater than I'm going to do, but Let's see how we get on. I've still not decided on what glue I'm using. Right, this is a solid state amp, which we knew, but blimey, there's not a lot to a solid state amp, is there? I'm used to valve amps, which are full of all sorts of gubbins. There's nothing in here. So let's have this off. I'm getting a new handle from Blackstar as well. This is a rubber Blackstar handle. Which you get on a lot of their amps, but I've got another Blackstar. I've got a little HT5, which is in what they call the artisan finish, which is like a nice burgundy finish, similar to the one I'm doing this in. That's part of the reason I wanted to recover it, so they match. And that's got a nice leather handle. So I'm going to get a leather handle to set this one off a bit more. It'll look a bit smarter with its new finish, if the new finish looks okay. Yep, that's going in a bag. So the chassis is held in by the feet, which is to say the screws that hold the feet on also hold the chassis. Chassis? Chassis. So I'm going to take sort of 2 out and then take it a bit steady with the last 2. Feet as well, obviously. How are we going to do this? Shall we pull it up while we do it? I think we probably should. All the way around would be nice. So I'm holding on to the chassis. I keep saying chassis, don't I? It's probably that firmly locked in with grime. It's not going to go anywhere, and I'm going to need a hammer to get it out anyway, but you know, better safe than sorry. Another thing that's causing me, I wouldn't say concern, but it's occupying some of my thoughts, is that all the tutorials I've seen on Americans expertly refinishing their amps or covering things in Tolex. Number one, I'm not using Tolex. Number two, all of their cabinets were made of lovely sturdy birch or pine or proper wood, whereas this, being as it's not the dearest amp that Blackstar make, it's very good, but it's made of MDF, it would seem. Now, I don't think MDF is going to be quite as easy to strip as normal wood. Wood would be. So we might have that thing happening as we're peeling the vinyl off, where the sort of papery surface starts coming away, which is playing on my mind a bit. But the amp was very cheap, so nothing ventured. I can always put it back and we can call it a relic and charge twice as much for it if we ever sell it. All right, I'm pushing away at, oh, there we go. Oh. Needs a bit of wiggling. Oh. Well. Yeah, you're not going to want to come out, are you? Right, so we're not going to be able to get that out without taking the chassis out first, but I think we're nearly there with the chassis. We can just, bit of brute force, and this should just slide out the back. There's a lot of turning around. Yeah, there we go. Right, if you've ever looked inside a valve amp, you'll know how busy they are. It would appear that solid state aren't nearly as busy. Look at this. It's, I mean, there's stuff in there, but it's like 3 circuit boards and a weenie transformer. I say weenie, you know, you wouldn't want to drop it on your foot, but you know, this is my third Blackstar. I've got an HT5, which is a little lovely beastie, little stack. I had a Series 1 combo, which has got transformers in like this. They're like 2 lunch boxes full of ball bearings. They're massive and heavy. This is weenie. In fact, those transformers probably weigh more than this entire amp does. But anyway, it's out. That's what makes all the noise. That'll be cleaned up before it goes back in. Yeah, what a thing. Right, where are we going to put that? Let's put it on there for now. And I think that is our head disassembled. Right, let's do the cab. Now, I did start without you, I must admit, so I've already taken, I said that earlier, didn't I? I've already taken the speakers out. Oh, hang on, let's pop that handle out. That'll be satisfying, won't it? Hey! So there are my handle screws, which I suppose can go in my handle. These are my other little screws from my corners. Many corners. So that's nearly everything off the cab. The next bit's going to be the tricky bit. It's the bit I've been least looking forward to. So let's do that now. Oh, one of these was broken. So I presume this has had casters on at some point, but yeah, it's had a hard life, this cab. It's going to be well loved now and retired, and it's going to live upstairs in my lovely little loft where all my guitar bits are. Yes, you will. Yes, you've done your time. You're getting your reward in the loft now. I need another bag. Oh, 4x12 feet we've done. Oof, see what I mean? Don't want to mix these up with your amp feet. You don't want to be that guy, do you? Blimey. Imagine the shame, showing up to a gig. You got amp feet on your 4x12? Whew, amateur. Put all of that in there, including the broken one. And the screws. Aren't I organised? This is great. Until I lose the big bag with everything in. So yeah, you either lose one little bit and you're looking for it, or you just lose the lot and buy a new amp. And right, clearing the way, because this is the scary bit. Let me see that. Blackstar logo. Yeah. Now, on this, they appear to be the same, they're the same size, so I'm guessing they're the same thing. On this one, you can see, don't know if you can see that, get that out of the way. There's 4 little holes drilled in this, and it's got 4 little locating pegs on the back to obviously help glue it in. I'm guessing this one's the same, but I've got no way of getting, oh hang on, because it's loose here. Yeah, I think there are locating pegs on this, but they're going to be solidly super glued in, and there's no way I'm going to get it off with those intact. So brace yourself. Scrapey scrapey, and we're going to try and very carefully, I mean, say very carefully, you can get replace ones of these. Yeah, there's pegs. You can buy replacements, but if I can salvage this one, I will. I mean, it's a bit tatty, but I think it's just had stickers on it. It's just sort of paper, you know, when you peel a sticker off. It's just that sort of stuff on the middle. There's a bit of colour on there, but I reckon I can clean this up, he said, if I don't snap it first. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, will we get one? Oh, well, we nearly got one tab off. That's the back of your Blackstar logo. It's all very nice, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm going to try, and hang on, let me have a look, get my focus sorted. There we go. Yeah, you see it's all sort of sticker paper on there, but I reckon that'll clean up. Now, let's get the grill out. Sorry about that, lovely people of the internet. Right. Again, a bit tricky to get a drill in these corners, so I'm just going to do this by hand. Have a lift of screw. Take all the screws out. Obviously you don't want an odd number of screws. That was what that was about with the bag. 21 screws. Did I mention at the start of this I've never done this before? Yeah. You've got that covered. Oh, hello. Movement. Alright. Screw out and then because of these little corner brace bits. Oh, there we go. That's where the noisy bits go. And this is equally battered. It's had various oh, it's filthy. Yeah. So, one speaker grill off. As I say, that's going to be covered in black Marshall cloth later on. Good stuff. Right, I think that's us done. One empty cab. So now we've got another scary bit coming up, the stripping. Ooh. So, the stripping. This is the bit that's been worrying me because I say it's MDF and I don't think it's going to strip particularly well. But nothing ventured. I have, from my explorations on YouTube, a hairdryer which is supposed to help with these things. Although I don't know if it will on this, because all the ones on YouTube were done with sort of that sticky stuff that stays a bit sticky, contact adhesive. And this appears to have been done with God knows what. Hang on a minute. I don't know if you can see in there. I'll focus it up a bit for you. There you go. Yeah, it's this thick white gloopy glue. That's probably something they use for a lot of things in China, where I think this amp was manufactured. It would probably say on the chassis, won't it? I keep saying chassis. Yeah, so we'll have a go. There's other things, like there's a little bit here which has sort of started to come away, and it's coming away with a bit of MDF on it. Ooh, so we'll see how we go. Might have to replace these bits, which will be a challenge because my woodworking is, well, I've never done woodworking, so we'll see what it's like. But anyway, let's crack on. I'll pop you back there. Can you see? You can see. I'm going to try the hairdryer. I've brought it all the way down to the shed. Why not plug it in? I mean, if nothing else, it's warming the shed up a bit because it's free. Well, that's kind of working. Yeah. Oh, get my arm in the way. That's coming away quite nicely. Let's try going to a cold. As I go to the colder bit, it's starting to bring up some wood with it. So I think we're going to persist with the hairdryer and maybe get the heater back on in here. Heater. I mean, it's a poxy little bathroom heater, which doesn't, well, it heats if you stand underneath it. I'm going to crack on with this. This will probably go to a speedy vision or a cut, and I'll stop if I have any major disasters. See you shortly. This is looking better than I hoped, to be honest. It's going to take ages, but at least I know it comes off okay. I tell you what, to save us both a lot of time, well, not me, but save you a lot of the time, I'm going to pause it here and we'll come back. See you later. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Hello! Well, hang on. Well, we're back. I've done a lot of it. This was incredibly fiddly. Looks easy. But getting it out from all these little corners and nooks and crannies and having nowhere to, I'll move further away, nowhere to get any purchase was a bit of a nightmare. But I've managed to get all the trickier bits done in pretty much one piece. There are a couple of bits that they use to fill in the corners where the vent goes in the bottom, but it's in the bottom, so it's not a massive deal. I mean, I'm not saving them anyway, but it's something to look out for when we're recovering it. One thing I'll say for China, they're very good at glue, and they're not scared of using it. God, there's so much. I mean, I think half this amp's weight is glue. Other thing to mention, the hairdryer is your friend. It makes life a lot easier. Get it. I mean, I think I might go out and get a heat gun, to be honest. That'd probably make it even easier. But you join me because I think we're on a bit that might be rewarding. On the head, this is all one piece on the head, and there's one seam which is on the bottom. So the bottom left-hand corner as you look at it. This is then all one piece of fabric, so I'm going to have a go at getting this off in one. So hang on, before we do that, tea. Oh, too much milk, far too much milk. Yeah. Another thing, while you're stripping it, and those little, oh, way up, see, this is what I didn't want to happen. Let's bring in the top of the MDF with it. Yeah, so what I was going to say is you might want to have some masking tape handy for when you get a bit like this. Tape it down, because otherwise you move on to another bit, and with all the hairdryer blowing around in heat, this slowly starts folding over and re-gluing itself, I've found. There's a couple of bits I've had to strip twice. Yeah, I'm going to need to keep up with the hairdryer, so I'm going to have to shut up and stop talking, which is a blessing, really. The other thing, you will get skinned knuckles. Ow. But all worth it. I'm going to shut up and do this, and yeah, cut or speedy vision. I'll see you. Hey, there you go. So now it's just pulling, and at least we've got something to hang on to now. It's nice to have a big bit like that you can get your hand on. I've been trying to get my fingertips onto little corners. Yeah, let's try this. Yeah, be very careful on the corners, because obviously that's a prime area where you can be taking off bits of MDF that you don't want to see. Even with all that heat, it still doesn't really want to come off. Oh, the cabinet's going to be fun, isn't it? This is just the head. I might try going from that angle. Oh, that's nice. See, rewarding. Eh? Yeah, I might just pause this and crack on. Well, I'll leave it running. We'll do speedy vision. If it gets too dull, even in fast forward, I'll edit it. If I learn how to edit. It's a day of discovery, kids. Crikey. See, I thought this was just going to go whoop off in one piece. Whew. There'll be no whooting today, apparently. Oh, wow. That's nice. I might hang this on my wall in my little music room like a pelt, or make a rug out of it like a bearskin. I might have to buy my other half a new hairdryer. That's one extra expense in recovering an amp. Oh, that's what we wanted. Oh, look at that. Nom. Right, last bit. I've never skinned a bear, but I'd imagine, you know, if you have, you're seeing various things that are giving you flashbacks. I've never skinned anything. I don't plan to. Right, more heat. This was supposed to be a little quick clip before you leave me again and I do the rest of it, but blimey. See what I mean about glue? Blimey. There we go. That's the bottom off. So I am going to do the next 3 bits and I'll spare you the gory details, but I'll see you shortly. And I can have some tunes on again. Bye. We'll be doing a lot of this. Right, I brought you back for the last bit. Oh. It's off! Yay! Well, that only took forever. One skinned Blackstar head. Peeled Blackstar head. There you go. Now it's still covered in glue residue, which is going to be the next battle, because from what I've read we're supposed to get all of this off as well. So I've got a couple of things I'm going to try for that, but on the whole, I mean, yeah, that's pretty clean. I was pretty lucky, I think, because I was worried that the MDF might start separating and peeling off, but generally that hasn't happened. A couple of tiny bits, and there's little, hang on, let's do this, hang on, you stay there. Let's look at our pelt. So if I grab the camera, okay, you can see where there's little bits, but they're only very, they're not chunks, it's just surface. Yeah, it's nothing I think would show, but I am going to probably get a, where's my tea? Get a sander and go over these bits just to smooth them out on the cabinet and disguise any bits. There's a bit there, but it's not thick. It looks worse on camera than I think it actually is. So yeah, one peeled Blackstar. Rather pleased. Yeah, just got the sodding cab to do now. Okay, onward. See you in a bit. Just thought of another top tip. Maybe wait till summer when it's a bit warmer to do this, and not try and do it in January like I'm doing it, because it's freezing and that's obviously not helping with trying to warm things up. Help them. Oh, I'm not being quite as precious with the cab as I was with the head, so just want it all off. Just one big blister and burns from hair dryers. Oh, oh, ugh. Oh. Can mould grow underneath Tolex? Or whatever this is. Right, what I feared might happen with the cab is happening with the amp rather, is definitely happening with the cab. As it comes off, it is taking well, again, only a thin layer, but the top layer of the MDF off. So it's coming off okay, but yeah, I'm guessing, and it's only a guess, because this is because this cab has had a tough life and it was kept for years, I suppose, at least a couple of years in the back of a very damp van between gigs. So to go all week in the back of a damp, cold van, and whether that's got into the MDF, because this is a lot more open, I suppose, the cab, got into the MDF and, I don't know, weakened it, I don't know. So we'll have to address this when we come to cover it. Whether I can sand it, I don't think I'll be able to sand it flat. Whether it'll show through the covering, I don't know. Maybe I'll smear a layer of PVA or wood filler or something over it just to try and smooth it out and have a nice flat surface. No idea, but it's coming off, so onward. Well, we've done two sides of it and all the fiddly bits inside, and most of it anyway. This is not going as easily as the head did. The MDF is being left quite rough and peeled. It should clean up as the bottom, which isn't as important, but you know, if you're going to do it right. So I'm going to probably have to seal this with some, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is tough. I'm getting fed up with it now. Not fed up with it, just. But we're getting there. These bendy bits in an angled cab, they seem to have loads of glue on them. And this front little section, these buttons around the front, are plywood inserts, which is obviously bits of it are coming away. So there's going to be some wood fillering going on tomorrow, and let's just get the rest of this off for now. And I'll see you when I've done these other two sides. And the last bit. Not quite the last bit, there's a bit around the back here. Right, I've resigned myself to the fact that we're going to need to do a lot of sanding and fettling and generally making good. Go away. Oh, bits everywhere. But it's peeled, it's flayed, it is skinned, and it took ages. Yeah, let's try and get shots. So that's one side. Don't know why it's got a mysterious square there. That's the top. I'll get in a bit closer so you can see the surface texture in a minute. Dots on it. And that's to the side. But it's going to need a bit of TLC. Let me grab the camera, hang on. Whoop. Can you see if I zoom in? So we're back to sort of unpolished MDF. Again, it looks worse on there. Come back a bit. It's not too bad. And there's a bit of me thinking if you just go ahead and cover it, it'll be fine, but I'd like to do all I can to make it as nice as possible. Little bits here and there. I mean, it looks worse because there's still a lot of glue on it, but yeah, it's not bad. Not quite as bad as it could have been, I think. I think we've done okay there. So I think I've had enough of this for one day. I am going to come back fresh in the morning with all manner of, I don't know really, PVA glue, wood filler, sandpaper, little sander, and crack on. Oh, I've just got that little panel to do and the back to do, but I'll do that now and I'll spare you the gory details. I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, do this in summer.